Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Welcome everybody to History Unleashed. Today we've got a special episode for you. It's all about St. Patrick's Day, so hang on and take a listen. Where the past is more than just dates and dusty facts, it's a party waiting to happen. And today, we're throwing one of the biggest ones yet. Whether you are decked out in green or just here for the stories, you're in the right place. Today's episode is all about St. Patrick's Day, a celebration of saints and shamrocks, of heritage and hilarity. But where did it all begin? Was St. Patrick really Irish? What's the deal with the snakes? And how did a religious feast day turn into a global green-tinted party with parades, pinching, and rivers dyed neon green? We're diving into all of it with a little folklore, a lot of fun facts, and a surprise amount of beer. So grab your Lucky Charms and let's get festive. This is Shamrocks, Saints, and Celebrations, the story of St. Patrick's Day. Segment 1. The man behind the myth. Who was St. Patrick? Let's clear something up right away. St. Patrick wasn't Irish. That's right. Born around 385 AD, most likely in Roman Britain, what we call now England or Wales, he was actually named Merwin Sacat. His life changed forever when he was a teenager. He was kidnapped by Irish raiders and sold into slavery. He spent 6 years tending to sheep in Ireland, and during this time, he became deeply spiritual. He eventually escaped back home, but felt called to return to Ireland, this time not as a slave, but as a missionary. Ordained as a bishop, he returned and spent decades traveling the island, converting the Irish to Christianity, often blending local customs with Christian teachings to ease the transition. That's how the shamrock entered the story. Patrick reportedly used it to explain the Holy Trinity, the Father, Son, and a Holy Spirit. Fun fact, his original name wasn't Patrick. He took the name Patricius when he became a bishop. That name stuck, and the legend began. Segment 2, the first St. Patrick's Day, a holy day, not a holiday. March 17th marks the traditional date of St. Patrick's death, believed to be in 461 AD. The day was first observed as a religious feast in his honor. The earliest records show that by the 9th or 10th century, Irish Christians were celebrating his life and work with special church services. For centuries, St. Patrick's Day was a solemn religious occasion. There were no parades, no green beer, just masses, prayers, and family meals. Even during the Middle Ages, it wasn't treated as a rowdy public festival. It was a sacred day on the church calendar. Lesser-known myth. Some say Patrick banished all the snakes from Ireland. While it's a cool story, fossil records suggest there never were snakes on the island to begin with. Most scholars believe the snakes were symbolic, likely representing pagan religions that Patrick helped replace. Segment 3. Parades. Not in Ireland. America takes the lead. The very first St. Patrick's Day parade? Not in Dublin. Try St. Augustine, Florida, in 1601. Organized by a Spanish colony with an Irish vicar. But the tradition really took off in the 18th century, especially in New York City and Boston, where large populations of Irish immigrants were eager to celebrate their heritage. The first New York City parade was in 1762, and it grew into an annual tradition, showcasing Irish pride and Catholic solidarity. These parades weren't just parties. For many immigrants facing discrimination, they were a way to say, "We're here, we belong, and we're proud." Fun fact, in the early parades, participants weren't allowed to wear green. In fact, the color was once associated with rebellion. More on that soon. Segment 4. Green, gold, and the shamrock glow-up. Let's talk colors. St. Patrick himself was actually more associated with the color blue. specifically St. Patrick's blue, which appeared on ancient flags and artwork. The switch to green happened over time, tied to the lush Irish landscape, the Shamrock, and later political movements like the Irish Rebellion of 1798, when Irish soldiers wore green uniforms in defiance of British redcoats. Today, green is the color of the holiday, from green beer to green bagels and even green rivers like the Chicago River, which has been dyed green every year since 1962. Fun fact, the dye used for the Chicago River was originally developed to detect sewage leakage. Ugh. It turns orange when it hits water, then turns a vivid green. Segment 5. Myths, Magic, and the Rise of the Leprechaun. Where do leprechauns come in? These mischievous little fairies trace back to Irish folklore, specifically the leprechaun, meaning small-bodied fellow. Traditionally, leprechauns were solitary shoemakers who guarded pots of gold at the end of rainbows. They weren't a part of early St. Patrick's Day celebrations, but as the holiday grew more playful, especially in America, they became part of the fun. A lesser-known myth, if you catch a leprechaun, he has to grant you 3 wishes. But be careful! Leprechauns are known for their trickery, and they often twist your wishes in clever, ironic ways. Fun fact, the leprechaun was added to the Irish Tourism Board's logo in the 1960s to promote travel, so even the government leaned into the fun. Segment 6. From the Emerald Isle to the World, the Irish Diaspora. In the 19th century, millions of Irish immigrated, fleeing poverty, political unrest, and above all, the Great Famine of the 1840s. Wherever they went, from the United States and Canada to Australia and Argentina, they carried their culture with them. For many Irish immigrants, especially in the U.S., St. Patrick's Day became a lifeline, a chance to celebrate their identity and show strength in numbers. As these communities grew, so did the celebrations, parades, music, speeches, and later, green-tinted everything. Fun fact, Buenos Aires, Argentina, has the 5th largest Irish community in the world, and its St. Patrick's Day festivities are massive, complete with pub crawls and street dancing. Lesser-known myth, some believe Irish immigrants secretly celebrated old pagan spring rituals on St. Patrick's Day. Though this claim is debated, it shows how people often blend cultural roots into modern customs. Segment 7. A toast to St. Patrick, the role of alcohol. Ah, the drinking part. Believe it or not, for centuries, alcohol was banned on St. Patrick's Day in Ireland. Until the 1970s, Irish pubs were legally required to close on March 17th, as the day was considered a solemn religious observance. But in the U.S., a different story altogether. Irish Americans embraced the holiday with pub crawls and hearty toasts. The link between St. Patrick's Day and beer exploded in popularity, especially after Guinness and other brands saw the marketing potential. Fun fact, an estimated 13 million pints of Guinness are consumed worldwide on St. Patrick's Day, more than double the average daily amount. Lesser-known myth, some say that drinking on St. Patrick's Day honors the saint because of the legend of Patrick's Day Pint, a tale where Patrick scolded a stingy innkeeper who didn't fill drinks all the way. The story ends with the innkeeper's bar cursed until he mended his ways and served generous pints. Segment 8. Symbols and Superstitions Beyond the Shamrock. We've already talked about the shamrock and leprechauns, but there's more to this magical day than meets the eye. There's the Celtic cross. It's often associated with Patrick. Legend says he merged the Christian cross with the pagan sun symbol to ease conversions. Snakes, as we mentioned, symbolize more than literal animals. They represent evil or paganism in many medieval texts. Pinching people who don't wear green. That started in America. Folklore claimed that wearing green made you invisible to leprechauns. If you weren't in green, the little mischief makers who would pinch you and so would your classmates. Fun fact, the official flower of St. Patrick's Day is the shamrock, but historically, many also wore St. Patrick's blue or displayed harps, which were a national symbol of Ireland long before the modern green era. Segment 9. Ireland joins the party, finally going green. While Irish Americans were throwing parades and dyeing rivers green, the holiday in Ireland remained quiet and religious for centuries. It wasn't until the mid-20th century that the country embraced the more festive side. In 1996, the Irish government launched the St. Patrick's Day Festival in Dublin, a multi-day celebration with music, dancing, and yes, parades. It was part of a broader strategy to boost tourism and modernize Irish identity. Today, over 500,000 people attend the Dublin Parade alone, and cities like Galway, Cork, and Limerick put on their own massive shows. Fun fact, in 2010, the global greening campaign began, lighting up the world landmarks like the Eiffel Tower, Sydney Opera House, and the Pyramids of Giza in green to honor the holiday. Over 300 monuments now take part each year. Segment 10. Wild Traditions and St. Paddy's Day Records. St. Patrick's Day has inspired some wild customs and even wilder records. Here are a few gems. Largest St. Patrick's Day Parade, New York City still holds down the crown, with over 2 million spectators and 150,000 marchers. Greenest place on earth, Montserrat in the Caribbean, an island with deep Irish roots, is the only place outside Ireland where St. Patrick's Day is a public holiday. Weirdest tradition? In Chicago, not only do they dye the river green, they also hold a green sheep contest at a local farm. Fastest pint drinking record. A man in Dublin reportedly drank a pint of Guinness in 1.5 seconds. Guinness wisely does not endorse this behavior. Fun fact, despite common mispronunciation, the correct shorthand is St. Paddy's Day, not Patty, but Paddy. Comes from Padraig, the Irish version of Patrick. Paddy is short for Patricia, and she'd like her holiday back. Segment 11, A World Gone Green, International Celebrations. St. Patrick's Day has officially gone global. While the holiday began in Ireland and expanded through Irish immigration, it's now embraced in countries with no direct Irish ties, and each culture adds its own flavor. Japan hosts parades in cities like Tokyo and Yokohama, mixing Irish and Japanese culture with traditional dress and music. India, Irish pubs host Bollywood green dance nights, and cities like Mumbai participate in the Global Greening Project. Australia and New Zealand, with large Irish populations, both nations throw parades, rugby matches, and green-themed races. South Korea, Seoul hosts a major Irish festival including Gaelic football, music, and even Irish step dancing workshops. Fun fact, in Singapore, people celebrate St. Patrick's Day with a boat parade on the Singapore River, complete with bagpipes and green laser light shows. Lesser-known myth. Some believe wearing green on March 17th actually invites bad luck in certain parts of the world, especially among superstitious sailors who see it as a color that tempts fate with the sea. Segment 12, St. Patrick's Day and Pop Culture. The holiday's reach goes far beyond parades. It's become a pop culture event. Movies like The Boondock Saints and episodes of shows like The Simpsons or How I Met Your Mother center around March 17th antics. In music, everyone from U2 to Dropkick Murphys to Flogging Molly keeps Irish pride alive all year long, but especially on this day. TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram now buzz with themed recipes, dances, and green everything. Tutorials each year. Fun fact, The Quiet Man, a 1952 film starring John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara, is often aired around St. Patrick's Day. It was one of the first big films to showcase Ireland's countryside in Technicolor. and helped romanticize Irish identity in American media. Segment 13, the digital age, virtual celebrations and TikTok traditions. The pandemic of 2020 reshaped how holidays were celebrated, and St. Patrick's Day was no exception. Cities canceled parades, but the spirit lived on online. Virtual concerts, live-streamed pub sessions, and Zoomed dance-offs kept people connected. Platforms like TikTok launched trends like #Shamrocks Shake Challenge and leprechaun prank compilations. Today, influencers post Irish trivia, cooking reels, and how to throw your own Irish party content. Fun fact, in 2021, over 50 million people engaged with St. Patrick's Day content on TikTok in the first week of March alone. Lesser known myth. Some say that if you spot 3 rainbows in a day, it's a sign of a leprechaun's blessing. While that may be weather and wishful thinking, it's one of many legends that get a modern twist online. Segment 14, faith and festivity, a delicate balance. As St. Patrick's Day continues to evolve, some argue it's become too commercial, focused more on parties than on the man himself. Yet many people still use the day to reflect on faith, family, and heritage. In Ireland, religious services still occur on the morning of March 17th, and many wear a sprig of real shamrock to Mass. Across the world, cultural organizations promote Irish language, literature, and music, reclaiming the holiday's deeper meaning. Fun fact, every year, the Taoiseach, Ireland's Prime Minister, presents a bowl of shamrocks to the U.S. President, a tradition since 1952. Lesser-known myth. In some Irish countries, it's said that hearing a cuckoo's call on St. Patrick's Day means you'll have good fortune for the rest of the year, but only if it calls from the east. Segment 15, Shamrocks and Saints, why St. Patrick's Day still matters. So what does St. Patrick's Day really mean? It's a holiday that has worn many hats. A day of religious reflection, a badge of cultural pride, a public statement of unity, a party that spans the globe. For the Irish and those who simply feel Irish for the day, March 17th is more than beer and beads. It's about belonging, resilience, and keeping traditions alive, even as they change. It's a reminder that no matter where you come from, you carry your heritage with you. And when it's shared with joy and respect, it becomes a celebration the whole world can join. Stay tuned after this podcast as we're going to have a trivia session on St. Patrick's Day. And thank you for joining me today on this lively journey through saints, snakes, parades, and pints. Whether you're raising a glass, dancing a jig, or just learning something new, I hope you carry a little more Irish spirit with you today. Remember to like us on Facebook and look for us on Instagram. If you have any suggestions for an episode, please send us a message. And until next time, stay curious, stay proud, and as always, keep unleashing the past. Here it is, you've got it. Here's our bonus content with our trivia challenge for St. Patrick's Day. Before we wrap up today's episode, we've got a little trivia challenge test just to see how much St. Paddy spirit you've got soaked up. So whether you're playing alone or with friends, get ready to shout out your answers and keep score. Or just laugh at the ones you didn't know. Are you ready? Here's number 1. What country did St. Patrick originally come from? A. Ireland. B. Scotland. C. Roman Britain. D. France. The answer? C. Roman Britain. Number 2. What color was originally associated with St. Patrick? Was it A. Blue. B. Green. C. Gold. D. Red. The answer? A. Blue. Number 3. What was St. Patrick's original name? Was it A. Fergus O'Malley. B. Patrick O'Donovan. C. Maewyn Succat. D. Sean McPatrick? The answer? C. May Winsicott. Number 4. Where was the first ever St. Patrick's Day parade held? A. Dublin, Ireland. B. Boston, Massachusetts. C. St. Augustine, Florida. Or D. New York City. The answer? C. St. Augustine, Florida. What do leprechauns traditionally do for work, according to folklore? A. Are they farmers? B. Are they shoemakers? C. Are they bankers? Or D. Are they gold miners? The answer? B. Shoemakers. Number 6. What is the symbolic meaning behind the shamrock, according to legend? Was it A. Luck and fortune? B. The Irish flag? C. The Holy Trinity? Or D. The Four Seasons? The answer? The Holy Trinity. Number 7. Which U.S. city dyes its river green for St. Patrick's Day? Is it A. New York? B. Boston? C. Chicago? Or D. Philadelphia? The answer? C. Chicago. What's the proper nickname for the holiday? Is it A. St. Paddy's Day? B. St. Paddy's Day? C. St. Pat's Day? Or D. St. Packy's Day? Answer? St. Paddy's Day. Paddy comes from Padraig, the Irish form of Patrick. Number 9. What was the original purpose of the dye used in the Chicago River? Was it A. Food coloring? B. Detecting sewage leaks? C. An art project? Or D. Science experiment? The answer? B. Detecting sewage leaks. Number 10. Which Caribbean island celebrates St. Patrick's Day as a public holiday? Is it A. Jamaica? B. Barbados? C. Montserrat? Or D. Trinidad? The answer is C. Montserrat. Okay, how'd you do? Whether you aced it or just learned a few new tidbits, you're officially ready to raise your glass and impress your friends. Be sure to share your score with us online and let us know if you were stumped or someone else was. Until next time, keep unleashing the past. Thanks, everybody.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.